Okay. Are we good? Okay. Good evening. My name is Leticia Garcia, the Vice President of the Board of Trustees, and I'll be presiding over this meeting this evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:30. I'm going on to item 1B, the roll call. Mr. Ocampo is not present with us this evening, so Mr. Koenig, can you please call for the roll?
Trustee Area 1, Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Trustee Area 2, Mr. Ocampo. Trustee Area 3, Ms. Garcia.
Present.
Trustee Area 4, Ms. Gilpus Pereira. Trustee Area 5, Mr. Jimenez.
Present.
Mr. Ocampo and Ms. Gilpus Pereira are absent.
Thank you. Okay, we're going on to item 1C, Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we will be led by sixth grader Victor Lopez from Montebella Elementary School.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the flag salute. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you.
Very nice. Let's give him a round of applause. That was wonderful. Okay, thank you. We're going to go on to item 1D, Spotlight. This is an opportunity to feature up to 3-minute presentation, the positive things that are taking place throughout the district. Do we have any spotlights, Mr. Koenig?
Yes, Board Vice President. Today we want to recognize the district championship in the recent golf tournament that was held at the club at Crazy Horse Ranch. We had 12, all 12 schools had teams vie to compete. Only the top 4 were invited to the championship for the chance to win the trophy, the Bowlesby Trophy. And the Sanchez Elementary School won the golf tournament. So recognize
A round of applause. Wow.
And at this time, we'd like to ask the members of the Jesse G. Sanchez Elementary School golf team to come forward, and we'd like to recognize them individually. There is a second spotlight. They're not here tonight, but the district's percussion team went to Stockton for the Northern California Percussion Alliance Championships, and they were the champions in the percussion scholastic junior category. So
Let's give them a round of applause. Any other spotlights?
there are no other spotlights.
Very good. So on the behalf of the board, we'd like to thank all the teachers for coming this evening. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to move on to item 1E, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
Mr. Mercado and Mr. Jimenez second. All in
No.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Going on to item 2A. School site presentation, Principal Lilia Valladares, Montebella Elementary School.
Good afternoon, Board President, members of the Board, Superintendent Koenig, and community members. I am Lilia Valladares. I'm the principal at Montebella. And with me is Ms. Avelina Navarrete, our assistant principal. So again, I am the principal at Montebella School, and Ms. Navarrete is our assistant principal. So we're here to highlight the few things that are happening at Montebella. So first, I'd like to start with our school overview, what our composition or makeup of our school is. Currently, we have 34 classes, which consist of preschool through 6th grade. We are servicing 832 students, K through 6. Currently, we have 392 English learners, 128 reclassified that are considered fluent English proficient, 66 migrant students, and we are proudly housing the dual immersion with, currently we have 16 dual immersion classes, and we're phasing out our bilingual transference, which is at 6th grade. So next year, we're hoping to have a total of, I'm sorry, not a total, but phasing out the bilingual transference, and we'll have all dual immersion classes in that strength. We have 11 English language classes which cater to the English only speaking students, or those that prefer to just do the monolingual versus the bilingual. We have an RSP class that is housing over about 28 students, our instructional coach, one counselor, or one psychologist, and currently 4 intervention teachers. So our current reality as far as reading for 1st through 6th grade students. This is a snapshot from the STAR Reading Report, which highlights the 2nd trimester benchmarks that the students took. Overall, our school is at a 40% at or above benchmark, with our 6th grade team really knocking it out of the ballpark. They're at 50%, so they're doing amazing work, as is our 1st and 5th grade. The STAR reading is more geared towards 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The lower grades take a different assessment, but they are welcome to take this one if they choose to, if they have students that are already reading and can manage the skills that are tested in the STAR reading. We also have STAR Spanish. And now this one is at 53%, so it's definitely above. And again, right now, our 2nd grade is the one that's 4th, 5th, and 2nd grade are really up high. So with our current reality in kinder through 2nd grade, they do take the developmental reading assessment, which is done one-to-one. The teachers sit with the students to administer that test. Kinder's end of the year goal is to be at a level 4. Right now in English and in Spanish, they're at a level 2, which we foresee them reaching that goal. For first grade, the end of the year goal is 16. Currently, the English class is at a level 6 in reading. Our Spanish is at 5. In second grade, their end of the year goal is 28. So English is at 16 and the Spanish is at 18. The Spanish classes do take the Spanish version of it. So it's called the Evaluación del Desarrollo de Lectura, but it's still assessing the same, the reading. We're really excited to have intervention teachers. So we have Mrs. Rodriguez, Ms. Santana, Ms. Melgoza, Ms. Mendoza. So those are our intervention teachers. Ms. Rodriguez is supporting our lower grades 1 and 2 in Spanish instruction. Ms. Santana is going from 1st to 4th grade. She has a larger span because we have less classes that are being serviced for the English language. Ms. Melgoza just joined us, so we're filling in where we need to support our students. So she's also doing English 1st through 4th grade. Ms. Mendoza is a special assignment because we are dual immersion. We felt it was really important for our English speaking students that are in the dual immersion to be supported as well. So she's doing a focus group where she's pushing into the classroom and supporting the oral Spanish. So in Spanish or English speaking students have a difficult time with the genders like la mesa. So those are areas definitely that she's focusing on. And lastly, Ms. Contreras, I don't consider her an intervention teacher, but she is supporting our students 1st through 4th grade, and she's doing LPAC preparation for the test that we're currently testing. So she's pushing in and trying to and supporting them to excel on the LPAC test. And one of the reasons that we chose to put them there is in the lower grades more so because they are working on the foundational skills and learning to read. So that's when they need the 1-to-1, so that eventually when they go to 3rd grade, the hope is that they already know how to read and they're reading to learn and not learning to read. As I said, we are a large portion of our classes are dual immersions where the teachers teach in Spanish and in English. And one of the concerns that's often brought up by the parents is that if their student is learning in Spanish, that they won't speak English. So we felt it was important to present this information or this data to you to show that they are excelling as well in English. So this is a component from the English reading and STAR. And I took the district's end of the year expectations, which is in the orangey peach band. And then for 3rd grade DI, which is our dual immersion, they're at an average Lexile of 165, and their English counterpart is at 210. It's important to note that in 3rd grade, they're still learning English. Their language arts is being taught in Spanish, but they're moving towards transitioning into English only. When you move to 4th, 5th, and 6th, their language arts is English and math is in English. So you could see 4th grade DI is actually a little bit higher than our ELC counterpart. So, and this is the reading done in English. The same for 5th grade DI compared to our English language classroom. They're also a little bit higher. And it's important to note that research indicates that when you're in a bilingual program, especially the model that we have, the 90-10, 4th and 5th is when they start transitioning, and that's when the benefits are becoming more evident. And then 6th grade, they are a little bit lower, but not too far. So I think that's an important note to make. The same goes for our math. You know, the end of the year expectations are there in the peachy orangey color. And I don't think I need to go through that, but you have them there for your reference. But our dual immersion classes are definitely keeping up with the English only classes. And then for STAR Math, so again, this is done in English. And I apologize on the original PowerPoints that you have, the sixth grade band didn't show up, but they are at a 61% at or above grade level. So they're really, whatever they're doing, which I know what they're doing, they're really implementing and differentiating in the classroom for language arts and math. So they're really focused on filling in the gaps with IXL. So, I mean, they're really moving the students, and the students are really learning. We have kids that are at seventh grade level and above, actually doing the work in math and language arts.
Good afternoon. So one of the things we want to highlight as well is the ELD reclassification. We reclassified 45 students, including 13 additional ones that are now in seventh grade. So we had a little celebration last month to recognize these students. As part of our ELD goals, we use as a school site our GLAD strategies to improve the students' ELD outcomes in speaking, writing, reading, and listening, as well as we're holding the goal-setting meetings with students and parents. These are the ones that teachers were doing with students prior to parent-teacher conferences. As well, our coaches have done individual goal setting with the students prior to them starting taking the LPAC, just to encourage them and to really show them what level they're currently in and what is it that the criteria that they have to meet both for the state and our local criteria, so that the students already know what they're expecting to get before starting the LPAC. Another thing that we've done for our goal is our both coaches, our ELD coach, Ms. Castillo, and our academic coach, Ms. Murillo, put together parent workshops, where on the first one, it was more of an informational night for our parents, just to really explain what does it mean to reclassify, what are the criteria that the students must meet. And then the second, the follow-up training, it was more like a workshop hands-on, where some of our staff came in and presented to the parents, and they had different stations so that they get to take home some strategies where they could be supporting their children at home. And this year, we have our goal to be 20% of our English language students to be at a level 3, and we'll reclassify by the end of the academic school year. So that is our current goal for our students this school year. As far as our instructional focus, we still continue to do response to intervention and small group and differentiation in the classrooms. We also have guided reading acquisition and incorporating our GLAD strategies. We do have writing, which is our step up to writing, which teachers are also using. On regards to social emotional learning, we do have our PBIS. We do have a tier 1, which is intended for all students. We are providing scholar dollars for our students. We do host our scholar store, and we do hold a monthly event for the students to participate. We do have a tier 2/3 this school year that we're kind of restarting when we're reestablishing the check-in, check-out system. We go through the cost process, which is the referral form that we have for the district, and as a team we meet and we decide which is the best approach for each of the students that are being referred, and we determine as a team which is the best service for the student that is being referred. We also have our school counselor that checks in with a lot of our tier 1 or some of our tier 2 students, as well as she provides classroom presentations for the teachers. She does like a monthly theme, and then as well any additional presentations that need to be done for the individual classes. We also this year have Forza, which is our dance. Students having Forza dance lessons, and we'll be having a performance coming up. Do you want me to put the dates? Right? Collaboration is also a big one at Montebella. We do have our teachers, during our GLR days, they use data. They are standard space. They do look at student work samples as well as reflecting and part of the lesson planning and lesson delivery across all content areas. And they do like to share, best practices. So this is a time where they're reflecting and looking at the data and planning those RTI groups. And that wraps up our presentation, unless anybody has any questions for us.
Do you guys have any questions? Mr. Mercado?
Hi, thank you for that, the presentation. I wanted to go back to the slide where it has social emotional learning. I had some questions on the check-in, check-out. You mentioned that there's sort of a process. Can you expand a little bit on that process?
So our district this year has this, universal cost referral form. So it's either teacher or parent concern, or during an SST, sometimes there's some concerns that are brought up. So we do have this universal form that all schools use. We meet bi-weekly and we go through every single referral. And as a team, when I'm talking about team, we include administrators, we have our school counselor, we have our psychologist, we have our counseling partners such as, Harmonia Homes, Sticks and Stones, MCBH, everybody that is able to participate, as well as, I know for us, Mr. Carlos Perales from AFRC also attends. So based on their referral, we look at as much information as we're able to gather to determine which is the best service to provide the student. Sometimes we might need to do a phone call to parents to grab additional information, but we start with this referral. We discuss the student needs, and then what is the best route that we could take for.
And to add to it, check-in, check-out is part of the PBIS. So once we meet in tier 1, and those are the supports that are being done for behavior or any issues or concerns with the teacher. Tier 2 is the teacher exhausted pretty much everything that they can do. Then we move into tier 2, which we do consult with the cost meeting. And if the cost meeting finds it appropriate, then we have a meeting with the parent and go over check-in, check-out process, which is the student selects a mentor. It could be a teacher, it could be the secretary, anybody that they feel a connection with at school. And every morning they check in with them for 5 minutes, they set a goal. And then in the afternoon, based on the points, because it's a point system, it's a reward system or token system, they check out with that same mentor to have the discussion. Did you meet your goal? What went well? You were shy of meeting it. What do you think it would be better? And then start kind of prepping for the next day. And they stay on that and then the little reflection form goes home to the parents, and the parents are to have that conversation as well with the students and bring it back, and the process continues. The goal is not to keep them there forever, but it's just to start building those positive relationships with the student and the teachers. Before if that doesn't work, then we move into tier 3, which is more of the one-to-one counseling or group counseling.
Great. And how many, do they meet once a week, every other week?
The cost or the
cost?
it's bi-weekly.
And thank you. And my final question, the second to the last slide, collaboration. I'm looking at data-driven. I see that, what other data sources do you use to guide the instruction? I see that there's STAR reading and STAR math. Are there any other mechanisms that you guys use to guide?
Yes, so the upper grades definitely have the IXL, which is a digital instructional platform that they're using. They always are viewing that. They project it onto the monitor and are having those conversations with the students right there and then. We also use in the upper grades the Achieve 3000. So that one's also very used at Montebella in our upper grades. So those are some of them. Then we have the I could never get the thank you. I could never get those FIABs, which is the district benchmark as well. So those are looked upon. the teachers themselves also, and the lower grades, it's the DRA, the writing, and they do their own, sometimes, most of them do the phonics inventory. That is also a district benchmark, and we look at that. And then they bring in the student samples. We are working with the GLT and with Ms. Moreno. We're working with writing progressions. So that's our goal. We are not a storm school. So we're working on that to look at the standards and see where the kids are measuring up to that and what do we need to do. Based also on the data, we've had vertical articulation with the grade levels. So we're fortunate to use the GLRTs for one of them. So fourth and fifth grade, I believe it was fourth and fifth that met and had the collaboration of what do I need from you? And so a lot of different data. And we use the district new template for the GLT, which has guiding questions for them as well.
Thank you for answering my questions. Your presentation was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez? Okay. I have one question. Actually, I had two, but you answered one of the other ones, which is great. How many of your teachers are trained in GLAD?
Right now, we have just one that is not trained.
Oh.
And because of personal reasons, she wasn't available at that time that we had the training. So currently, everybody is trained, including myself and Mrs. Navarrete.
Yeah, and like I said, I had like two questions, but you answered the second one, which is about collaboration, because I too am trained in GLAD, and it takes a long time. Like, you need time to put those themes together. You need time to do the prep work. So I'm assuming that is happening during collaboration time.
Yes,
don't
and
know.
Ms. Claudia Murillo, she's our instructional coach, and she is supporting that during GLTs. Also, we did have funding set aside for after-school collaboration due to the fact that we have very limited substitutes. So the teachers are meeting to do GLAD planning during after school. And then we've also had trainings this year. We had two presenters come to our schools. One is that did the Spanish component of GLAD and the English, and they had planning time during that time as well.
Well, thank you for this great presentation. Very informative. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go on to item 2B, Summer School Programs Presentation by Monica Anso, Associate Superintendent of Educational Services.
Good afternoon, Vice President Garcia, Superintendent Koenig, board members and cabinet and community. I am Monica Anso, Associate Superintendent of Educational Services. I do have our summer school leads somewhere in the room. I saw them in the back somewhere. So they're here in case we have any more detailed questions that I can answer. They will be supporting for some of the questions. And so I will start with the three programs that will be we have this year. In our ELOP ACES program, our lead is Ms. Carranza, and we're in a transition between Mr. Fausto and Ms. Maria Alvarez as a support. So Ms. Maria Alvarez was part of the planning early on this year. So for our ELOP program, we have our extended school year program, which is our special education program. And then we have our migrant education summer academy as well. And that's Ms. Alicia Fletcher. So we'll start with our district program, our ELOP, which includes ACES. The purpose is to accelerate learning, provide hands-on activities, physical and social emotional well-being through a theme. We'll be will be focused on our TK fifth grade students. Our dates will be June 6th through July 7th, 20 days. It'll be a 4-day week, so we will not be coming into class on Mondays. The student hours are 7:45 to 4:45. So one of the criterias for the ELOP funding is that we have a 9-hour program. So that is why it's till 4:45. And then our locations are going to be MLK, Sanchez, and Montebella. Those are our 3 schools that will be hosting our district program. The hosting schools, MLK will host VRB, Frank Paul, and Chavez. Sanchez will host Fremont, Steinbeck, and Creekside, and Montebella will host Alisal, Loya, Barden, and Ava. And so what does the 9-hour program look like? So the theme for this year, for the summer of 2023, is Fiesta, celebration of culture. So a history, social studies, standards focus. It's a multidisciplinary program integrating the theme that consists of the following. So academics will be enrichment through literature. The enrichment part will be visual and performing arts. The theme, physical activities, outdoor movement, social emotional lessons as well. And then our nutrition, it has included nutrition based on the ELOP criteria. So that's breakfast, lunch, and supper. And everything that we'll be doing will have that theme embedded into it. So they'll be reading, each grade level is assigned a country. They'll be studying, they'll be creating, they'll be reading about it, creating plays, they're making their own costumes for the dances that they'll be performing. And with the hopes of at the end of the summer program, we'll have a festival. These are some of the partners that we'll be using during the summer: Forza, Legal Ed, Sweat 3, Teacher Created Materials, the Science Community School Workshop, and then the Mindful Project. This is just an example of what that 9-hour day will look like. This is the schedule that has been created. And you can see by grade level, by time, and the rotations with the partners coming in and what will be happening to the end of the day. And this is just a flyer that was sent out to all our families explaining and inviting them to register for our summer program. In addition to the main summer school program that we'll have for our students, we've added a new addition. It's an intensive ELD academy for long-term English learners. It'll be 2 weeks from 8 to 11:30, and the focus will be reading, which is our criteria number 2 for reclassification. So we'll have some students that have scored at an LPAC 4 and are candidates for reclassification, but still have not met criteria 2 for reading. So we'll be working with those students for 2 weeks to try and get the reading score up. And then we have our extended school year, which is our special education program. And the purpose there is it's the IEP goals. It's by invitation. I know here it says recover and exploration. I think I have it on the other slide, but it's also for your regression and recoup. So the IE team will decide if the period of the break in services due to the summer school, due to the summertime, is going to cause the student to regress. And if that regression is going to take long, or the recoup time is going to be long, then we recommend, or we invite those students to attend the ESY. So that's 20 days again, June 5th through July 3rd. And this is a shorter program, 8:15 to 12:45, and Barden will be hosting this program. And this is the preschool program, same regression and recoupment. It's invitation through IEP. Same time, June 5th through July 3rd. We do have 2 student groups. So one student group will come in at 8:10 to 10:40, and then the second group 12:10 to 2:40, and same location at Barden. And then we have our Migrant Ed Summer Academy. So academic intervention, science, and binational art program. It's for our TK through 6th grade migrant students. It's June 5th through June 30th. So this is a 19-day program. The hours are a little longer than our ESY. So this is an 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have two options. So it'll be a in-person option at Barden and then a virtual option. So that's it. Any questions?
Mr. Mercado?
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. I'm looking at the sample rotation, Ms. Sanso.
Of which one?
The sample rotation.
Yes.
What time is breakfast? Is that like gonna be from 7:30 to 8:15 or 8 o'clock, and then they go to?
The school day for our ELOP program will start at 7:45. So that's when we'll start serving breakfast.
Thank you.
So for our fiesta, it'll 7:45.
Would students be like taking a to-go bag like after supper for the summer, or has that been talked about?
For students not enrolled in the summer program.
Mhm.
So that's probably something we have to discuss with nutrition. I think sometimes nutrition services, I know that sometimes we have programs for school age children up to 18 years old. I'm not sure if we'll have that. I think it's something we need to talk to nutrition about. Nutrition services,
Well, just looking at that same sample, is there an opportunity for second chance breakfast on here or?
so they will be getting the breakfast, they'll be getting the, see if I go back to the slide. So the lunch and the supper,
So no second chance breakfast during there's no,
like a good grab and go.
yeah, I guess. There's, in other words, okay, are they gonna have like a little break in between 7:45 and,
So a recess time
12,
and a
yeah.
grab and go? Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know, Ms. Carranza, if they're the ones setting up all the plans with nutrition services, so they can explain the meals that they have purchased and here she comes.
Hello.
Hi.
So the question was, if we were gonna provide breaks in between?
For second
A
chance
snack,
breakfast or?
What we have been doing is we have been providing the breakfast. And then we have not been providing grab and go between the breakfast time and the lunch time. Some students, if they ask for an extra snack, they could request that and we will ask that from nutrition staff. And they will provide a snack in case a student for some reason missed the breakfast time, but at this point, we didn't have a grab and go between breakfast time and lunchtime.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I just wanted to ask. Okay, so. All right. Have the positions already gone out for summer school for the teachers and support staff?
Yes, they have.
Okay, and can I ask, is there going to be any type of bonuses for teachers or support staff if they
We d-
work in the summer?
Yes, we're gonna be offering stipends for both certificated and classified. And admin as well.
Okay. And about how many students do you foresee coming to your program this summer? Or how many do you have
Um,
now? You haven't, how many have you enrolled so far?
We have, we were planning for the numbers that were provided or from the numbers that we had from last summer. So we were projecting about 400 students per site. So we're hoping to have 1,200.
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
And how about grab and go after school?
We don't have grab and go for after school, we have supper. It's a warm meal that it's offered for the students.
Do you have one more question? Do you have, okay. So students can come and leave at any time, right? They're not forced to
Right.
stay like at 7:45 and they have to leave at 4:45, right? And
Right.
they can be taken out of the program.
Yes, but let me just share with you that sometimes when the parents do pick them up, the kids go crying that they do not want to leave. They're
know.
just having so much fun at the
Sure.
programs and they said, please don't pick me up early. So
Right.
that's the feedback I've been hearing from all the sites.
but it is also a possibility. It's
It
not
is
like they
possible.
have it's summer. So sometimes,
Right.
people make appointments for their children and stuff. So they're able to pick up their child without having any repercussions about.
Yes,
you
yes,
know.
they can.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions? No? Okay, thank you so much for that presentation. All right. Okay, next one. Item 2C, project and program update, Buckhorn Early Childhood Development Center.
Good afternoon, uh, Board President, Board of Trustees, Mr. Koenig, Cabinet, my colleagues, teachers, and community. We are going to make a very quick presentation today about Buckhorn project. As you can see, for now, this is our official title, Buckhorn Early Childhood Learning Center. We are going to make a very brief theme presentation that's between business and educational services department. And the reason is we have to work together to make it happen. I think we have to begin with a timeline because that's very significant. Between 2015 and 2021, there was no activity. The idea was developed, but not much activity took place at that time. Only major activity was we engaged ISA architects for design services. The legal challenges were in between this process and during this time period. Legal documents means we had to make arrangements between us and the city of Salinas to transfer property. That went back and forth many, many, many times. They had objections, we had reservations, we just kept going back and forth. Late 2021, finally, we came over those challenges. We removed all the legal issues between the contract, and the city finally handed over the piece of land, the parcel of land to LSL School District. After we had the contract in hand, we had the legal documents. One more time, ISA architects finalized all the documents, and they filed the construction documents to DSA, which is Department of State Architects. That's where we stand right now. DSA has to approve that project. It never used to be that long. They used to take, maybe only 4 or 5 months to approve the projects, but now they're taking much, much longer, and they blame COVID for that. As soon as they approve the project, which can happen anytime now, between March, April, May, we are going to go for the bidding process and engage a contractor to start the construction. We are expecting to start construction in November of this year, and we are expected and projected to complete that by end of 2024. The project will go in operation early 2025. This is the timeline we are working with. This is the timeline we shared with City of Salinas, and they keep asking us for updates as well. This is the timeline actually, which is our operating timeline as we speak. Next thing, funding. As we speak, this project is going to cost $8.5 million. We have donors who help out with the construction of this project, but still the largest amount of money has to come from our own local resources. LSL has to pay about $5.8 million for the construction of this project. The second largest donation is going to come from Monterey County Peninsula Foundation, about $1 million. And then there are some other donors. And we really appreciate the donations we get for the construction of this project. These are some pictures that I just added in the presentation just to give you a visual of this project. This is a schematic design of this project. After my friend, my colleague Susan is finished with her presentation, I'm going to ask Alex from ISA Architects to help out with the questions, if there are any questions about the design of this project. Now, about the project itself, I'm going to ask my colleague to tell us about that.
So everything we do is based on enrollment and what's best for children. So right now, we're going to have some changes. So as we gain TK students, we lose preschool students. They age out of our program and they go into TK. So slowly, we are going to start closing some preschool classrooms. But we served 50 fewer 4-year-olds this year than we have in the past. Those all went on to TK. The preschool served 105 3-year-olds and 90 4-year-olds. When Buckhorn is fully operational, it will house all our 3-year-olds. Thank you. And as they move into TK, Buckhorn will serve the 3-year-olds and our special education. So we're really excited that we'll have a place where our special needs students will be able to go into general ed and commingle. Preschool is working right now. We got a grant from the county and we currently have 4 staff members that are in the process. We're trying to get them enrolled in credentialing programs. So as our preschool staff get more education, they'll be moving into those TK classrooms. And that's what will happen with our staff. Not only will our children end up in TK, but our goal is to have our staff end up into TK. The one thing I do want to say is we will close classrooms down till 3 classrooms, because that's what we'll have at Buckhorn. So we'll slowly in the next couple of years close them to about 3 classrooms.
Questions?
I just want to add, we're actually not serving fewer preschool kids with the transition to transitional kindergarten. We're actually expanding by quite a bit the number of preschool students that we're serving.
So going back to this picture, this design was developed after our architects, ISA Architects, spoke to our admin team. Much discussions took place, and then this design was developed. So at this point, we are going to entertain any questions you may have about the program itself or the design.
Questions?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
You remember, Mr. Abassi, I was going to be asking about questions on the sign. Like, can you expand on that? Like, do we look at other models that have an early learning center? Do we look at some?
I'm going to invite Alex Reynoso from our architect company to answer that.
And when we were creating this, I worked with First Five to make sure that it was developmentally appropriate, that the spaces looked like they would benefit children at the best. So part of this came from, we had sketched one sketch, and then working with First Five, we made some changes in here.
Right. I do want to. I see.
Not me.
Well, I did see some of the pictures that there are shade structures and there are no trees nearby. So we're gonna make sure we have plenty of shade for our students, because.
So if you go back to the rendering that has, go up, please. Right, up one more. So you see the trees there? We do have some trees. And behind the trees is the sand and water area.
Now, is this gonna be grass or it's gonna be artificial turf?
We're gonna try to have grass.
Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez? Is there,
Yes.
okay,
The, the dates or the planning for the, for the, to open that site. That's the correct, how do you say? Yeah, because before we are expecting, when they're gonna be started, the construction. Then now, that's the official, date.
The official date depends on the DSA approval. Once DSA approves that, then we can move pretty quickly. Because then we have the timeline, clear timeline in mind that we have to go through the bidding process, select a contractor, then start the construction. And that has some delays from time to time because of different situation that we do not control. For example, rainy season can delay the project. That can be one of the reasons for delay. Some supplies, some deliveries can delay the project. But still, I think that seems like a realistic timeline that we should be able to begin our operations in 2025. Now, DSA used to take much less time in the past, but now they have a longer timeline to approve the project. They can have some questions in between that we can always satisfy. But at this point, it seems like a realistic timeline that we should be able to go in operations in 2025, early 2025.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions? Let's see, I had one. Okay, there's gonna be cafeteria here too? Or,
So because it's a small school, there will be a food service. There's one area that's a kitchen area.
Oh.
That will have a warmer and a refrigerator for if you're looking at this schematic he has up, it's where the green and the yellow boxes are. That's where we're going to have the freezer or the refrigerator and the warming. And so food service would deliver it to us, but we're responsible to serve it out to children. So there's no real cafeteria. The SPED program is half day, so they don't usually eat on campus. It will just be those other 3 classrooms. And as you can see, there was some, with the shade structure, there were some tables with shade on it, and that's where they'll eat most days. And then they'll be inside the classroom if they couldn't eat outside.
and maybe I'm not trying to read your mind, Mr. Mercado, but maybe that's one of the questions you might have had with maybe shade structure, because if you're gonna put them outside, those umbrellas may not work, but we'll see.
So the ones that are next to the playground are permanent. Those
Mhm.
are those big long poles
Mhm.
that look like a big umbrella, but it's a permanent structure.
Mhm.
The other ones look like they're more temporary, so they're not quite as maybe as strong, but they should last.
Okay, also, so how many students do you foresee actually having in this center? Are you planning on taking all the TK from all the schools or just
The-
certain ones?
So
How do you
the-
figure that out?
these are 3-year-olds. So
Okay.
all our 4-year-olds will be in TK. So the only people that will be served here are 3-year-olds.
Oh.
And this year we served 105.
Oh, okay.
We're assuming that 1 class, 2 classes will be all day. The all-day classes, we can only serve 24, so that would be 48 children. We're
Mm.
assuming that 1 classroom will continue to be a 2 session because some of our families say our 3-year-olds are too young to go to school all day. So in order to meet their needs, we'll continue to offer 2 3-hour sessions. And then we have the special ed students that will be
Okay.
moved from Alisal at Community School and Barden.
Very nice. And the teachers that are going to be teaching the 3-year-olds, do they need ECE units or?
It's the same staff I have right now. they're qualified to teach 3 or 4-year-olds. That's what we have in there. So we have the appropriate staff for
The 3-year-olds will not be taught by certificated teachers. They'll be
Oh.
taught by the regular preschool staff that we currently have in most cases.
Right.
The special education classes will be taught by special education credentialed teachers.
our district considers our preschool teachers as classified, unlike Salinas City where they're certificated.
How do you know that? Okay. Used to work there, huh? Okay, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Okay, so now we're moving on with our agenda. Having completed all the presentations, we're moving on to item 3A. Public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and or non-agenda items. 3A guidelines, there will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. 3B, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items and or other items may do so at this time. Giving you a start time of 6:26. And we have a few here. Call them up. So first person up is Griselda Martinez.
Hello. Good evening, Superintendent Koenig, Vice President Garcia, and esteemed board and community members. My name is Griselda Martinez, and I am a SPED pre-K teacher, and I am speaking for myself tonight. Only 6 out of 36 SPED teachers are fully credentialed. That means only 1 out of 6 SPED teachers is fully credentialed. That means 83% of SPED teachers are not credentialed. In the program that I serve, 4 out of 6 SPED SDC class sections have not had a teacher all year. When SPED teacher positions remain vacant or the teacher is not credentialed, other SPED staff, including myself, have had to take additional duties to cover for and train temporary subs. This is a burden for those of us who are fully credentialed SPED staff because it takes time away from our own job assignments, caseloads, and students. Our LSL students deserve to be educated by highly qualified teachers, especially our youngest and most needy students. We want to attract and retain high qualified SPED teachers and staff. One of the best ways to do this is to offer competitive salary and benefits. Please support all LSL students by supporting all LSL staff.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next one is Leah McFarland.
All right. Good evening, Superintendent Koenig, Vice President Garcia, and esteemed board members and our community members. My name is Leah McFarland, and I'm a school psychologist here at LSL, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself tonight. I would like to speak briefly about the issue of a lack of speech and language pathologists or SLPs at LSL and the negative impact that this has on our students. At this time, LSL only has 6 speech pathologists employed by the district, and 1 is retiring at the end of this school year, leaving us with only 5. We currently have 8 vacancies, soon to be 9, and that has left us with 57% unfilled open positions, and it has been this way the entire school year. With this many vacancies, our students suffer. Currently, LSL is using 11 contract speech pathologists, but 10 out of the 11 contract SLPs only provide virtual services. This is not best for our students. We currently have students as young as 3 years old getting virtual speech through an electronic device, and parents have repeatedly expressed to the IEP team members that they do not feel that this is the best service model for their children. Virtual contractors also have an extremely high turnover rate, and they are not invested in our community as we, the LSL employees, are. At this time, 2 of our 6 SLPs are working with CSUMB to train and mentor SLP master's degree students. At the preschool program that I serve, along with Griselda, we have so far mentored 9 SLP master's students this year already. But LSL will have to compete with all other local districts, as well as private clinics and hospitals to hire these future SLPs. Our students with disabilities deserve to receive special education services from highly qualified in-person staff. We want to attract and retain these staff, all of these SPED staff, including in-person SLPs. And the best way to do that is to offer more competitive salary and benefits. Please support all of our LSL students by supporting all of our LSL staff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next one, Jasmine Root.
Good evening, Superintendent Koenig, Vice President Garcia, esteemed board members, and community members. My name is Jasmine Root, and I'm a SPED RSP teacher, and I am speaking for myself tonight. In my 4 years at Fremont, we have had numerous school psychs, speech pathologists, SDC teachers, school counselors, and occupational therapists. Data currently shows that LSL students with disabilities are struggling in all areas. They do not have the consistent services that they are legally guaranteed in their IEPs. So why is that? LSL SPED is not properly compensated for their expertise or time. The workload is unmanageable, thus staff leave the district and there is constant turnover. Each initial or triennial assessment takes anywhere from 6 to 10 hours of work. These assessments take place on top of all of our other duties as service providers. For instance, right now I am working on 14 open assessments while servicing students at Fremont and Ava in all 7 grades. I am constantly taken away from my actual students, surrendering precious teaching time for meetings and paperwork. My case is not the exception, but the norm. Burnout is real, and it is deeply affecting our staff. We are running IEPs 2 to 3 days a week, working all hours to get reports done, assessments completed, and case management done. To add to the stress, many of our skilled paraprofessionals are leaving because their wages are completely unlivable. We need to attract and retain highly qualified SPED teachers and staff through competitive salary and benefits. Please support all LSL students by supporting all LSL staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any others? Is there any more? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close public comment at 6:34. And now we're going to go on to item 3C, association comments with LSL Teachers Association.
Good evening. Good evening, Cabinet, President Garcia, and the board member present, and also the public. First, I want to publicly thank the teacher for supporting the negotiation team. And about the negotiations, they're still in the initial stage. They're going well. They're still what we call the initial back and forth. I want to say something else. We need to remember that the association ATA is one of the stakeholders of the district. Thank you. It's one of the stakeholders of the district. We also want a teacher, qualified teacher in each one of the classroom. And we definitely want to see improved services from the special department and from the specialists, counselors, social workers, psychologists, and I'm forgetting one, but there will be speech. So, thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. How about California School Employees Association, Chapter 577?
Good evening, Ms. Garcia, Mr. Koenig, board members, cabinet members, and community members. Solange K. Quinoy, CSA Chapter 577 President. In attendance tonight, there are classified staff to support the negotiation team. Tonight, I would like to share the articles that we are proposing for negotiations. Article 3, organizational security, and Article 22, layoff and reemployment. CSEA has the interest in updating the language in these articles. Article 14, safety. CSEA has interest to enhance the language to add personal safe word. Article 5, pay and allowance. CSEA has an interest in a fair and equitable wage increase for its bargaining unit members and negotiating the impact of the state minimum wage increase. Article 27, duration. CSEA has an interest to update language to include a new 3-year terms. Tonight, the Board of Trustees are sunshining CSEA and Alizal Union School District articles for negotiation, and we look forward to start negotiation with the district as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. How about United Substitute Teachers Union? Is there anybody here for that? Nope. Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to item 4, board members, superintendent reports. Is there any reports? Mr. Koenig? No? Board members, anything to report? Okay, so I do like to report that I was able to visit a couple of classrooms, DI classrooms in Montebella School last Friday, and I'd like to thank the teachers for letting me into their classrooms. I got to visit kinder, first, second, third, and I was very impressed with all the dual language agendas, the things that I saw. I saw kids' presentations in different classrooms in Spanish and in English. It was really awesome to see, and I'd like to thank Principal Valladares for showing me around her school. Okay, we're going to go on to item 5, consent agenda. Approve, ratify contracts, MOUs, agreements, grants, proposals, conferences, workshops, and field trips. So, am I out of line here?
So I make the motion to approve the
Yes.
consent agenda.
Sorry about that. Yes. Can I get a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any comments or questions? Yeah, sorry. Any comments or questions before I say yes?
No.
None? Okay, thank you. And, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm falling behind here. Okay, so that is item 5. And I now go on to item 6, human resources. Public hearing, California School Employees Association, chapter number 577, CSA articles for negotiations. Open at 6:39. Anybody coming up? Oh, we're closing it up at 6:40. Item 6B, public hearing, LSL Union School District Articles for Negotiations 2022-2023 with the California School Employees Association, CSEA. Open at 6:40. Okay, I'm going to close that up at 6:41. Okay, item 6C, action resolution number 2223-21, classified employees appreciation week. There's a motion.
Second. First by Mr.
Mr.
Jimenez.
Mercado and seconded by,
Oh.
first by Mr. Jimenez, seconded by Mr. Mercado. Comments or questions? None? Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Koenig. You may read the resolution.
By the governing board of Alisal Union School District, resolution number 2223-21, resolution of classified employees appreciation week. Whereas the education of youth is essential to the future of our community, state, country, and world, and whereas classified employees are the backbone of our public education system, and whereas classified employees work directly with students, educators, parents, volunteers, business partners, and community members, and whereas classified employees support the smooth operation of offices, the safety and maintenance of buildings and property, and the safe transportation of healthy nutrition and direct instruction of students. And whereas our community depends upon the trust classified employees to serve students, and whereas classified employees with their diverse talents and true dedication nurture students throughout their school years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees proclaims May 21st through 27th, 2023 to be Classified Employees Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved that the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees strongly encourages all members of our community to join in this observance, recognizing the dedication and hard work of these individuals. Passed and adopted by the Alisal Union School District Governing Board on this 26th day of April, 2023 by the following vote.
Okay, so I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Why don't we give ourselves a round of applause for that? A great resolution. Oh. Thank you so much. We're going to go on to item 6D, resolution number 2223-22, and I'll go ahead and let you read that before I take that vote.
By the governing board of the Alisal Union School District, resolution number 2223-22, resolution of Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education, and whereas teachers encounter students of widely differing backgrounds, and whereas our country's future depends upon providing quality education to all students, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees proclaims May 8th through 12th, 2023 to be Teacher Appreciation Week, and be it further resolved that the Alisal Union School District Board of Trustees strongly encourages all members of our community to join in personally expressing appreciation to all our teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work. Passed and adopted by the Alisal Union School District Governing Board on this 26th day of April, 2023 by the following vote.
I'll make the motion to pass resolution 2223-22, Teacher Appreciation Week.
Okay, good second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
We
Go ahead and
wanna-
give us for the teachers. Wow, wonderful. Okay, moving along. Item 7, future agenda items. We've got 3, A, B, and C. School site presentation by Principal Luis Romero on May 17th, Prop 28, Visual and Performing Arts, May 17th by Mr. Esteban Hernandez, and item C, department presentation by Mr. Alberto Jaramillo, which will also be taking place on May 17th. Board members, is there anything you want to add to future agenda items at this time? I want to add like an update on the threat assessments and also student training on active shooter. Okay, moving right along, we're on item 8, public comments on closed session agenda items only. A, guidelines, there will be a 2-minute limit for individuals on public comment and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. 8B, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time, starting time 6:47. I'm going to close it at 6. I'm going to say 6:48, maybe 6:48. Okay, we are going to adjourn to closed session at 6:48. We'll have a break for 10 minutes and then we'll go quickly into our closed session items that by 6:50, 58, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I need to go move my car. Thank you for all of you for coming tonight. And if you want to show up,